Well, welcome to this video entitled, Who Has Emotional Triggers? In this lesson, we're going to find out who has emotional triggers and what that looks like in real time. Well, let's just say this. If you're a human being, at some point in your life, you'll have triggered and had an emotional reaction to what someone says or does. Why? Because we still deal with the knowledge of good and evil at some level. And we can't discern reality perfectly. So here's what I've learned in my experience and the revelation that God has given me recently regarding emotional triggers. The more wounded a person is in their soul, meaning their mind, will, and emotions. So the more wounded they are in their mind, will, and emotions through negative experiences, trauma, different things that have happened in childhood, more distortion of reality they'll be in. And what that equals to is more lies they believe about themselves, so they'll be more easily triggered. See, the enemy is after getting us living out of God's reality and into a world of hurt, pain, sorrow, and really death. So he works in many different ways, but this is another one of his tactics that he uses to cause people to be hurt, in pain, offended, disappointed, and really not trusting in God because of the pain that he brings to children's lives early in life, and then he reinforces them over and over again. So really what happens is when a child has a negative experience that's reinforced over and over again, however way he used to survive that situation, as an adult, that same child, whether it be male or female, is going to do that same thing to survive. And oftentimes it causes damage in relationship. Now, on the other hand, the more healed a person's heart is in their soul, in their mind, will, and emotions, the less triggered they're going to be and the less offense they're going to be. Now, in Proverbs 19:11, it says, "It is man's wisdom that gives him patience, but it is glory to overlook an offense." So it's to our glory as men and women of faith to overlook an offense or something that someone says or does that may offend us. So when a man or woman gets healing in their hearts through inner healing, deliverance, counseling, therapy, inner healing modalities such as Sozo or things like that, or in therapy or EMDR, whatever, or a combination thereof, what it does is it takes a person, as they get their heart healed, they're living more in God's reality, in the spirit of truth or Holy Spirit led, versus being led by their flesh. And what it does is it brings a person more in reality, so they become less triggered. And in a relationship, you want a person that's going to be less triggered, because your relationship is going to go much more smoothly than if you have a lot of negative past traumas, reinforced emotional, physical, sexual abuse over and over and over again, which will cause a lot of problems if your heart is not healed. That's why it's so important to get inner healing and be able to get our hearts healed, so that there's less offense in relationship, which means more godlier, healthier, fun relationships where you can before marriage, and for men in marriage, it's going to be much smoother sailings than if you weren't getting all your baggage taken care of beforehand. So I encourage you, please get your baggage taken care of, get your hearts healed through inner healing, so that you can have the best relationship you can before marriage and then after in marriage. We'll see you in the next video.